Today on the High Republic Show, we give a warm welcome to the new group of authors entering the High Republic era, meet a young Marchion Ro in the timeline, and reveal a fresh new batch of exclusives. The High Republic Show starts right now.
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were guardians of peace and justice.
Hey y'all, hey friends! It's your good pal Krystina Ireland here to spread the good word, the latest and greatest High Republic news. And boy howdy do we have a lot to cover. Because right now we are standing at the exit door of Phase 1 of the High Republic. And we're so close to jumping back 150 years into Phase 2, but before we make the leap, we have a lot of comics and books to add to the timeline. It's a Marchion Ro flashback, y'all! Welcome to Everon, a harsh planet filled with wind, rain, and way too much electricity. The Evereni have adapted to the planet, but once a millennium, a vortex comes from the planet's core, destroying everything. No one trusts each other, and a centuries-long war breaks out. The few that are left, the Wanderers, leave the planet and find out they aren't alone in the galaxy, starting battles with anyone who crosses their path. A young Ro uses Marchion Ro's abilities for the first time, which impresses the Nile. Young Ro goes on to take full control of the small group of Nile, and they're never heard from again. Just kidding. Back to the present. Avon Starros is kidnapped by Cara Zue's Nile Tempest, and Vernestra Ro and her Padawan Emery Canteros travel to Dalna to investigate. But the Dalna authorities are unhelpful because the president has secretly sworn allegiance to the Nile. Cool. Avon is forced to help scientist Zadina Macampa perfect a machine that can produce groundquakes. After receiving a distress call from Avon, Vernestra comes to the rescue while Emery and Bep head to Starlight Beacon to get help. But Macampa activates her groundquake machine, forcing the people of Dalna to evacuate to Starlight Beacon. Avon is saved, but realizes her mother somehow knows of Macampa's Nile activities. A Grindelwald security operative named Prybolt is killed in a Nile attack on Corellia's Coronet City. Crash Angua is given 3 sunsets to find the killer or face Grindelwald justice. Crash joins forces with Jedi Cantum Psi and Comac Vitus and figures out the city politicians have been working with the Nile. Elsewhere, Crix Camerad is being held in a cell in the Starhopper where Zine Morala is questioning him. Crix lets some vital information slip that Sabata is on the moon of Corellia called Gus Talon. Zine flies off to Corellia to warn the Jedi. The Nile assemble in Storm Sands shipyards where they attempt to steal Republic warships to use in an ambush at the site of Starlight's demise. But not before Yoda, the Jedi, Crash's crew, and Coronet City civilians successfully defend the shipyards. Meanwhile, Jedi Master Buckets of Blood believes it's time for Lilith Soule to be knighted, but after meeting Saber for Hire Ty Yorick, she's unsure, considering a new life path and telling Zine how she feels about her. Razala and Cord are knighted. Hooray! Back at the Nile Great Hall, Avar has her lightsaber raised above Lorna D, ready to strike, but Keeve Trennis jumps in and talks to Avar. Suddenly, Lorna grabs Keeve and holds a lightsaber to her neck. Avar uses the Force to push Lorna out of the way, saving Keeve. Returning to the IRAM system, Stellan informs Avar he's now head of Starlight Beacon after Avar's stunning against the Republic's wishes. Massive explosion cuts the conversation short. Yep, it's Starlight Beacon. Aboard Starlight Beacon, Keeve is face to face with the Nameless, but Skiers scares them off. But the Nameless took down Jedi Norin. Skiers' disconnect from the Force helps him against the Nameless. Silver lining, folks. The plan? Get to the hub and see if they can stop Starlight Beacon from drifting into the planet's atmosphere. Maru and Avar try holding the beacon together with the Force. The Song of the Force brings all the Jedi together as one, both living and gone, and brings Tarrant and Sarah out of their comas. While Maru stays behind to hold the beacon together, the rest unite on Iram. Keeve vows to find out what happened on Starlight and what those miserable creatures are. Simultaneously, Cian Holt, Emmerich Kaftor, and Beastar begin to question Utterson. But it doesn't take much because, surprise, Utterson has no moral code. He hands them a paper with a note about the Nameless, aka the Shri Kare, Eaters of the Force. Crashing into an already burning Starlight Beacon, the crew is met by Jedi Master Buckets of Blood and a group of Padawans who need a ride out, but not before Emmerich and Cian get their hands on some clues. Back on the Gaze Electric, it is revealed that Ro has Jedi Master Obertuck held hostage and forced to witness the destruction of Starlight Beacon. On Coruscant, Lina Soh and the Republic are questioning who Marchion Ro is and how he's been able to create so much destruction. Worried the Outer Rim is left vulnerable without Starlight, things are made even worse with the news that the Jedi have been recalled back to the Jedi Temple until they know more about Ro's, Jedi killing weapon. But what are these nameless creatures? Flashback number 2. Ro and a small group of Nile head to a mysterious long-abandoned planet. After sacrificing some strike ships, the rest of the Nile arrive and call to the Nameless. They make the Jedi afraid, then weak, then dead, explains Ro. Yikes. Back to the present. The fears of Lina Soh and the Republic are made even worse when their ships rushing to provide help to the Outer Rim and Starlight are destroyed by the newly planted storm seeds, devices that will destroy any ship using hyperspace to enter the area without his permission. Double yikes. What's next for Soule? The Nameless somehow get creepier and creepier the more we find out about them. The Jedi being called away from the trouble in the Outer Rim? And Marchion Ro is now acting as bouncer of said Outer Rim? So many questions at the end of Phase 1. And speaking of the end of Phase 1, let's say hello to the new group of authors joining the High Republic era in Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Zoraida Cordova, and I am the author of A Crash of Fate and now Convergence from the High Republic Phase 2.
My name is George Mann, and I'm the author of Star Wars Myths and Fables, Dark Legends, Life Day Treasury, and now joining the High Republic.
Hi, my name is LYDIA KANG. I am the author of The Right-Hand Man, which was a short story in The Empire Strikes Back from a certain point of view. And I am also working in Phase 2 of the High Republic.
I am TESSA GRATTON, author of YA and adult speculative fiction. My first project is co-writing with my friend Justina Ireland.
So my very first Star Wars memory, this is going to age me a little bit, but it was in 1977, watching A New Hope in the theater.
I was quite young, and I'd gone to the cinema with my grandfather to watch Empire Strikes Back. And from that point on, I was addicted to the comics, the action figures, the sticker books, and obviously the movies too.
My mom was a huge Star Wars fan, and I was so enchanted by the murder teddy bears, aka the Ewoks, that I gave up my own name. No Tess, but was Wicket for anyone who asked. One of my first Star Wars memories was my mom's coworker giving my little brother and I a box of Star Wars toys. And with those toys came the movies in VHS form. And so we would watch the movies and act out the scenes with all the little figurines.
Over the pandemic, I've been keeping myself busy with other projects like making tiny crochet Grogu's. They're keeping me company. Makes me very happy.
So for me, the thing that resonates most about Star Wars is that idea of found family, that no matter who you are, no matter what journey you're on, there are people for you, there are people who care about you, that idea of people coming together.
Even the smallest person can make a difference. No matter how hard a situation feels like, if you come together with your friends, you can save the day and you can make a difference. I wanted to grow up and be a wizard who changed the world to make it better. And that's really what the Jedi were all about.
The fight and that push and pull between good and evil is always something I find really fascinating because it's never black and white. It's never really concrete. There's so many gray zones in that push and pull. And in every single story, you get to explore that. And we are living through a moment in Star Wars history where we get to see it unfold in front of us.
I love delving into relationships between histories and worlds and development of all of these really cool societies.
Oh my gosh. When I found out that I was going to be joining the High Republic team, I was a little bit just in shock. Like, is this actually really happening?
Like, are you sure? Did you mean to send this email to me?
As soon as I put the phone down, I probably did a bit of a dance in front of my kids.
I had to push my computer away because it came like crashing down on me.
There is so much responsibility that comes with working in the Star Wars universe.
I've got to make sure I can, live up to everything else that's been created for this.
I really am happy to be doing this in my mother's memory. It is both incredibly exciting and terrifying exploring this part of the timeline. There are so many new Jedi to meet, new Republic characters, especially the new worlds that we're going to be going to.
The things that happen on this Earth are very much paralleled in the Star Wars universe.
The great things about the High Republic is we're exploring an era where anything could happen. No one's safe.
I'm so excited for readers to dive into Phase 2. I can't wait for everybody to meet the new characters, the new storylines, and it's a dream come true as a writer.
In terms of inspiration, I was kind of looking back at those classic adventure stories, kind of frontier tales, westerns. For me, it's a bit like the initiative itself. We've got this cast of characters going on this journey into the unknown, and that's a bit like what we're doing with Star Wars: The High Republic.
And now it's the time for my favorite part of the episode where I get to sit down and chat with my High Republic besties. This time I'm joined by Mission to Disaster, author Justina Ireland, senior editor Rob Simpson, and author of Eye of the Storm, Charles Soule. Welcome, y'all.
Great to see you.
Great to see you as well. Now I'm gonna start with you, Charles.
Okay.
Now Marchion Ro and Light of the Jedi gave me nightmares, and they're now back after reading Eye of the Storm. Can you explain yourself and why you must make such an evil baddie?
Well, I did want to give you nightmares. I wanted to give everybody nightmares. I mean, the idea when you're making a villain is to make a villain. You know, they gotta be scary, right? They gotta do things that are terrible. They have to do things that ordinary people who are not villains wouldn't do. And when you're dealing with Star Wars, you already have people who've blown up entire planets. You have people who have murdered younglings. So what we wanted to do with Marchion Ro was to make him unique. He has no Force powers whatsoever. So the idea that Marchion is able to do everything he can do without the Force, he's just smart and ruthless in his own way, was something that made him particularly unique and compelling within the Star Wars world. The other part of it is just his background, as we saw explored in Eye of the Storm, is pretty unique. The few survivors of his species, there aren't very many of his people in the galaxy at all. They've evolved kind of this very heightened sense of imminent danger, and the idea that you literally cannot trust anyone, and the only way that you can work with other people is if your goals are aligned with theirs. So you have a whole civilization that is like that. And Marchion Ro has not just been brought up in that through his own family, but also generationally, he's been hearing, do not trust anyone, never trust anyone, because the galaxy is against you. The galaxy is a storm, and it will strike when you're least expecting it.
You kind of pity him a little bit. Well, okay, maybe I do, and maybe that's the I can fix him era. But because he doesn't have the powers, because it is a lot of generational trauma that led to this villain, I find myself feeling a lot of empathy for Marchion.
That's the real tragedy of him, right? Is that if things had gone differently for him, he would be building instead of tearing down.
Now, Justina, you returned to Avon and Vernestra and Imri and Mission to Disaster. Now, given that these are younger characters and that story is initially meant for a middle grade audience, how do you determine the level of danger to put them in while still keeping the book action-packed?
It's just about telling the story at a level that appreciates their life experience, but also has the same level of stakes and risk that you would expect in any other story. It's dangerous and sometimes bad things happen. And there are ice skaters, so.
So what you're saying is that children are actually people.
I know, it's a revolutionary idea.
Now, Rob, you worked on all the comics and manga for this initiative. How exciting has that been for you?
It's been great. It's been great to see so many brand new worlds created and so many new characters created. Being able to have all of the characters from the novels and comics interweave as they have has been so much fun.
Are there any standout scenes or characters from these stories for you?
I always go back to Kyiv from the very beginning, from the very first time I saw her. You know, she represented so much of how would someone who grew up around the Jedi taking that next step into being a fully realized Jedi Knight and all of the adventures to follow.
She also has some of the best hair in the High Republic. Thank you for overseeing those looks.
And it's interesting because one of the decisions we made early on about the High Republic was that they were all going to be wearing the same uniforms. So there are only so many areas of self-expression that we could pull out for each character, and for her to be able to express herself through her hair and express herself through her growing more independent, I think has been great to see it reflected in her that way.
I think a lot of people don't understand how important, especially culturally, hair can be at times, and to see the amount of detail that's been put into it, the curl definition, even down to her shaved sides, to see those things represented, especially as someone who has a penchant for changing their hair as I do. It feels very nice to be seen, and it truly means a lot to me as a reader. Now this question is gonna be for all three of you. I'm gonna start with Rob. There's a lot of food in the High Republic. People are always eating and baking and cooking, which makes the characters instantly more relatable to readers. Was this a conscious choice as you were all writing, or are the Luminous writers just always hungry?
I think we're always hungry. All of us are always hungry. But it's been fun for me specifically because one of the side projects that a lot of people may not know I work on are some of our other Star Wars cookbooks available in the bookstore near you. And subtle plug.
I'm sorry, that was like the least subtle plug ever.
I know. But it's been fun to see, however serious the adventure might be or the challenge they're facing might be, that they're able to take that moment to take a break and, break bread. That's a center of all good storytelling, and to see that played out here has been a lot of fun.
Just to echo what Rob said, really, like food is a form of communion, right? It's a very universal experience. Everyone and everything, Star Wars or not, eats. It's a very, very character-connected trait. Plus, it's just fun. You get to make up all kinds of stuff in Star Wars, but making up like weird cocktails in particular is something I enjoy.
But also, it really gives you an idea of where a person comes from, depending on what they like and what they dislike. So there's like this running joke about poor Avon doesn't like Jaffa stew, which for those of us in our galaxy is just chili. Food is such an integral part of humanity that what better way to show that these characters have that aspect of humanity, even if they are not humans, than through food.
This initiative is about the golden age of the Jedi and what scares them. So, what is your favorite example of a golden age moment? And what is your favorite example of a fearful, scary moment for the Jedi?
A perfect vision of that golden moment is the end of the first issue of the High Republic when Keeve is knighted. That captures that moment of Camelot, that moment of building a better society and building a happier future.
It's everything that the Republic stands for at this time, and it's everything that Marchion and the Nihil are trying to destroy. As far as a moment of great fear for the Jedi, I think Jedi experience fear differently than we do. And I think if you were to talk about what would scare the Jedi the most, it would be that they wouldn't be able to save people anymore. They wouldn't be able to, protect the light.
I mean, we actually do see them trying their utmost to save not only other people, but themselves and each other. And it's been able to humanize the Jedi in a way.
Yeah, you do it with food. You do it with them being terrified, before you know it, they're actual people.
Ooh, this is actually one of my favorite questions. Who is a favorite character of yours that you have not written or edited that you would like to see more of?
I think for me it's Keeve. I do adore Keeve. And I think she's had such a strong character arc throughout this initiative that I'm excited to see what she's up to. I mean, I actually know what she's up to, but I'm excited for everybody else to see what she's up to when we check back in with her.
So a character I really like is Ram Jamaram. He is a kind of a Jedi dork, if such a thing could exist. He's just sort of incredibly charming and hilarious.
He's a great character. He's also one of my favorites as well. Now, Rob, who's your favorite?
That's interesting because so many have had slight walk-ons in the backgrounds of some of the comics, but I think the one character would be Adi Sunzi, who I think has really only shown up in Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. So to see that character explored a little bit more, that would be interesting.
Oh, that is fascinating. Now we're at the end of phase 1 of the High Republic. How are you feeling saying goodbye to some of the characters that you've been creating and also going into a new phase that is set 150 years behind?
I miss the characters already that we've been telling the stories about in phase 1. We left it at quite a point of crisis at the end of phase 1. A lot of crazy things have happened, and man, I want to know what's going to happen too. I can't wait to find out what's going to happen. But at the same time, getting to go back and explore an earlier part of the High Republic, as you will see, things are quite different then. I'm writing a story about Porter Engle in phase 2, for example. Yeah, I guess Rob can plug, so can I. It's a lot of fun, and I think the readers are really going to like it too.
I look forward to your Porter Engle story with great interest. Now, Rob, how are you feeling about just this new adventure?
As the story outlines and the story discussions begin, getting to see this new chapter of the life of the galaxy unfold is really exciting. It's nice to feel off balance. It's a fun adventure to be on.
There's something satisfying about the end of a story. Like, I know people are always mourned that things are over with, but just because something was over with doesn't mean it wasn't successful, that you didn't get what you needed out of it. It's nice to be able to close the book for a little while, move on to something else, and then check back in with our faves. So yeah, I'm copacetic. I'm in a good place.
Well, I look forward to meeting all the characters that you all bring to life in phase 2 and just hearing more of your voices through these characters. And I just want to thank you all so much for stopping to chat with me. Okay, I may have said the roundtable is my favorite part of the episode, but it might actually be this. It's hashtag THRS questions time. You ask the questions and I get them answered by a reputable High Republic source. But this episode is special because we aren't going to just one reputable High Republic source. Nothing in the rulebook says I can only call on one. At Kerberos Cos asks, who has been the most unexpected character that fans have latched onto?
I think Geode.
Stellan Gios and Elzar Mann are probably the two biggest.
I'm the most surprised by the reaction to Elzar Mann, and I think it's really a testament to the writers who've created such a complicated and layered character.
Wet Bub, the evil Nihil Gungan.
Buckets of blood!
I think it's gotta be Skier. I don't think I anticipated so many people bonding with a Trandoshan so much.
I would say Skier. Evil species that we've always thought, suddenly heroic.
At David Griff asks, if you had to choose one Jedi or Padawan to guide you safely through a Nihil attack, who would it be?
Buckets of blood!
Keith Trennis, probably because she's infiltrated the Nihil before, so if she's made it inside the organization and back, I pretty much trust her with my life.
Avar Chris, for sure. I would trust Avar with any of our lives.
My immediate reaction to this is Avar Kriss, because she's Avar Kriss. But then I started thinking about Porter Engle, you know, the Blade of Bardata. So it's a tough call, but I really think that either one of them is going to get you through from one end to the other in one piece.
I guess I can't say Yoda. Oh yeah. Yeah, Yoda.
I would choose Loden Greatstorm. Hanging out in the galaxy, having cool dude adventures. And I would like to have a cool dude adventure with Loden Greatstorm.
I actually think I would go with one of the pilots, either Sylvester Yarrow or Affie Hollow. I don't fly, so I want somebody to get me out of there.
From @Tim Owens, what special snacks, treats, or rituals have kept the authors going throughout the High Republic's creation?
Popcorn, whether it's microwave popcorn, white cheddar popcorn, you name it. There's just something about editing a manuscript furiously and popping popcorn at the same time that just goes really well together.
I really like apples cut and dipped in peanut butter. Fantastic brain food.
I've been eating lots and lots of cashews. I've been inhaling cashews like nobody's business.
Black coffee and green tea.
I mean, every time I get to see Cat, I get Tunnix tea cakes, so that's pretty cool.
Any type of flaming hot chips and lots of Diet Coke.
We talk all the time. We talk at least once a week. A lot of times when things are heavy, we talk every single day. And so I think that the community that we've established between the 5 of us and really the 6 of us and the 10 of us, when you really loop everybody in, has been a big part of keeping all this going and keeping us sane, especially through the pandemic.
Thanks! I'll need to add all those snacks to my next shopping list. If you have any High Republic questions that you want answered, tweet them to us using the handy-dandy hashtag #THRSQuestions. And maybe a High Republic expert will answer it in the next episode. You know what time it is now? It's time to reveal some exclusives! Oh, what's that? Young adult novel, Path of Deceit by Tessa GRATTON and Justina Ireland. The cover features a Pantoran Jedi, a character known as the Mother, and is that an Everini character? The same species as Marchion Ro? Uh-oh. But not just any Everini character. It's Marta Ro! Aw, so sweet looking. But something tells me that sweetness won't last. In the novel, we are on the planet Dalna, where a group of extremists believe that no one should be using the Force, especially not the Jedi. The group, called the Path of the Open Hand, is led by the Mother, and it sounds like things might get a little complicated when a member of the Path falls for a Jedi Padawan. Be on the lookout for more character and cover reveals at Star Wars Celebration. And for a closer look at even more details on what can be found within the pages, head to starwars.com/The High Republic. All right, so we updated the timeline, met the new authors, got some very important questions answered, and revealed some fresh exclusives. Well, guess that's it. And now it's time for my least favorite part of the episode, having to say goodbye to y'all, all my friends at home. But we will see each other next time. Until then, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and check StarWars.com to stay updated on all things Star Wars. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.